Trevor Story, 3 for 4 with a run and RBI. He's batting .337, 5 homers, 6 steals, .894 OPS early on this season. Chris, what do you think? Buy, sell, or hold on Trevor Story?
This feels like one of the more obvious sell high candidates in recent years, frankly. He's actually been a useful roto player since getting to the Red Sox when healthy, but there have been so many injuries. The batting average has been consistently so low that I am inclined to not buy certainly the .337 batting average, but even the .290 XBA. I would take the under with about 40 points. So, yeah, I think you sell if you can. If not,
and it just feels like we're counting down the days till he gets hurt again.
But if not, if you can't sell him, I think he's a perfectly useful middle infielder. It's just I don't really think he's much more than that.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's a pretty clear sell high. It's just I would imagine most people would be skeptical on him, and so if you can't technically sell high on him, I would just keep him and hope he stays healthy for as long as he can. And as long as he's healthy, I think he'll be okay. So
maybe, but I do wonder sometimes if we overestimate the. When the majority of the questions we get this time of year are, can I drop Dylan Cruz, and can I, should I drop Cody Bellinger for, I don't know, Rhys Hoskins or something like that. Like, I don't know. I think sometimes we maybe overestimate how deeply the average player looks into these things. And,
there's always one person in every league who still plays but hasn't really paid attention to baseball in like 5 years. That person's going to remember Trevor Story, and they're going to see his numbers, and they're going to think it's Trevor Story still. So there you go.
All right, let's talk about Walker Buehler, who had his best start of the season. Of course, up against the White Sox. You should have your best start. 7 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 11 whiffs on 100 pitches, 2 earned runs or less, 3 starts in a row. Scott, buy, sell, or hold Walker Buehler?
This is one I can't realistically see you selling, because even though obviously this start there was a good result, and 2 of his last 3 starts it's been a good result, the overall numbers are still pretty whatever. 4.23 ERA, 1.19 WHIP, less than a strikeout per, and then the underlying data is even worse, because the swinging strike rate, I think it entered this start 7%. And it didn't go up that much. He had an 11% swinging strike rate in this start for having the 9 strikeouts. And I just don't see a lot there that's changed other than the top line result. And it was more than one start of that now, but with a pretty yucky start in between the 2 good ones. So I don't think there's a lot there, just kind of random variance. And if somebody wants to take Buehler off your hands for something that I think is a little more interesting over the long haul, then I'd do it for sure. I just don't know. I just don't know that anybody's going to be eager to do that.
Christian Campbell has kept things going strong, 2 for 3 with a walk and 2 RBI. He's batting .316 with a .418 on base percentage. Has really showed a great eye at the plate. Expected stats look very good. Chris, buy, sell, or hold Christian Campbell?
I think it's a strong hold. There isn't really a lot of red flags in the profile. He's about to get outfield eligible. I think he needs 1 more appearance. That would be great for the team where I can't start him because I have Bobby Witt and Trey Turner and someone else really good who I can't remember. So really love that. The one thing, if you are hunting for red flags in Christian Campbell's profile, it's a whiff rate near 40% on both breaking and off-speed pitches, which hasn't held him back yet. The strikeout rate is manageable. He's been productive on breaking pitches, but that's one way I could see it going wrong, is just the strikeout rate starts to edge up a little bit because he is a patient hitter. So you would think any swing and miss issue is going to more directly lead to strikeouts because he's going to find himself in deep counts. But no, all in all, I think Christian Campbell's a star.
Gavin Williams turned in his first quality start of the season up against the Yankees. 6 1/3 innings, 2 runs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, 21 whiffs on 104 pitches. And this was the best the fastball has looked all season. 10 of those 21 whiffs came on that pitch. Scott, buy, sell, or hold on Gavin Williams.
I'm going to lean hold here just because I don't think what you'd be selling him for would be enough to pull the trigger now. So I'm not confident that he's going to have this big breakthrough season, even though the fastball got a much better result, 10 whiffs on the 57 pitches he threw there. So, 29% whiff rate on the fastball. I think the 10 whiffs are partly just because he threw so many as opposed to it being amazing. 29% whiff rate on a fastball is good. Don't get me wrong, but it's a little misleading. And it only had 16 inches of vertical break. So it wasn't like the 18 induced vertical break, I should say. So it wasn't like the 18 we were seeing in spring training. So I don't really know if the way Gavin Williams was better here is something that marks the start of a turnaround for him. The curveball and sweeper were both up 1 mile per hour. He also finally threw some cutters.
Yes.
Only 5 of them, but at least we saw that appear on his StatCast page and got 1 whiff on the 5. So it's nice to see him bringing that back. There are some good signs here for Gavin Williams. They're just small good signs that don't totally win me back over.
Yep.
So I think I'm just going to continue to hold and see how it plays out.
4-seamer command was really good in this one, bringing back the cutter I think we talked about it last week. He just stopped throwing it this season after it was really good for him last year. If he can throw that pitch while keeping the sweeper and the 4-seam command, there's still plenty of upside with Gavin Williams. So absolutely a hold after this one.
Jazz Chisholm is providing power and speed, but the batting average has been awful thus far. He's got 7 homers, 5 steals. He's hitting 161. The strikeout rate is up to 32%. Kind of feels like he's just trying too hard to lift the ball. Launch angle, fly balls way up this season. I don't know if it's, he's got this torpedo bat. Now he thinks he's like a 40 home run hitter all of a sudden. But Chris, would you be looking to buy, sell, or hold on Jazz Chisholm?
I think hold is the only way you can really go here, because as good as the home runs and stolen bases have been, everything else has been really, really bad. I think people are going to look at that 161 batting average and kind of freak out about it. And his XBA is because I think batting average is probably still going to be a concern. But sure, yeah, that's fair. I guess I was thinking about it from the perspective of
you already have Jazz Chisholm.
You already have him. But yes, if you don't have him, I think he is a decent buy. But it's not really like it would neither be a sell high nor a buy low because it's been such a weird start for him. I think the batting average will normalize, but like the XBA is 217. So it's not like you can look at that and say, oh, this is just bad BABIP pluck. Like he's earning the bad batting average right now.
Yeah, but there's enough of a track record that I said something on the podcast the other day when you weren't on. If you're going to do single factor analysis this time of year, the factor you should be singularly analyzing is what is this guy's track record, particularly if it's a multi-year thing like Jazz Chisholm. And so unless something seems like just totally broken with his ability wise, like I'm going to trust him to kind of normalize here with the strikeout rate and the launch angle, and
that's fair,
and be fine.
He also has a track record of injuries, Scott. So that's something else you have to worry about.
There is that, but you're buying low. So, he was a 2nd round pick coming into the year. If you can flip Tyler Soderstrom for him, and it's kind of a sell high, buy low combo, but I do that.
Another subpar outing for Aaron Nola, who was at the Mets, 6 1/3 innings, 7 hits, 4 runs allowed, 6 strikeouts in this one. He actually left with 2 earned runs and 2 runners on. The reliever came in, gave up a 3-run homer, so a few of those get charged to Aaron Nola, who, look, we don't ever look at record for a pitcher just because, like, it's not really indicative for fantasy. But he's 0-5. Like, he has 5 losses to start the season here. Aaron Nola does. Scott, buy, sell, or hold on Nola?
I think buy is what I'd be looking to do here. It makes me a little uncomfortable that the velocity is lagging and he's also had this bad start, but because the swinging strike rate looks totally normal, it's not like the pitches are just getting crushed. Exit velocity readings look pretty normal for Aaron Nola. I think it's just a typical Aaron Nola rough patch that we've seen so many times over the years, and everybody freaks out and the final numbers end up fine. Not ace-like anymore, but nobody really values him that way to begin with. He wasn't being drafted like an ace coming into the year. So I think if somebody's freaking out, you should look to take advantage of that and trust in the track record here for Nola.
Let's talk about Tyler Megill, who pitched very well on the other side of that game. 5 1/3 shutout innings, 1 hit, 4 walks, 10 strikeouts, had 14 whiffs on 92 pitches here, only allowed 1 hard hit. And what I've noticed this season, he's just kind of cleaned up the pitch mix. He's got rid of some excess pitches. He's mostly focusing on the 4-seam, the sinker, and the slider. And so far, it has worked. Or has it? Chris, buy, sell, or hold on Tyler Megill?
The command is super iffy. We saw it in this one. We saw it in the Marlins start where he also, did he have 10 strikeouts in that one as well?
Maybe. I'll look it up.
So the stuff has been really impressive and it's playing up. I think there are inherent limitations that make it so that I wouldn't really be trying to give up much of value for Megill, but I do think he's going to be pretty useful moving forward. The Mets pitching lab is very, very good. He had 3 strikeouts or 3 walks and 7 strikeouts in 4 innings against the Marlins. So kind of an even more extreme version of this. But yeah, I think there are always going to be some limitations here that make it tough for me to view him as someone I want to give up value for. So I would say hold, maybe lean towards sell, but I don't think you're really going to get much for Tyler Megill.
Okay. One thing I will point out from a points league perspective, I'm not sure you're going to get much length from Megill consistently or quality starts. Career 3rd time through the order for Tyler Megill, 3.07 batting average against, 5.13 slug, a 7.13 ERA. And it kind of feels like the Mets know that because they just don't let him go that deep into starts. So I think that's going to be pretty consistent with him. Kevin Gausman took a step back here at the Astros. Kind of. Like the overall line was a step back, but some underlying things I kind of like here. 6 innings, 4 runs, 6 strikeouts to 3 walks, 14 whiffs on 96 pitches. Less fastballs here, but this was the best the splitter and the slider have looked all season. Now, the slider, we don't really expect much from that pitch from Gausman, but we've consistently been saying we need the splitter to look better. We need that pitch to get on track, and it was really good in this start. His velocity was also up in this one. So, Scott, I feel like we've kind of been like scatterbrain on Kevin Gausman this season. Where are you at now? Buy, sell, or hold Kevin Gausman?
I mean, even though the results weren't as good in this start, it was at first glance like the most excited I've been about a Kevin Gausman start because he did get the 8 whiffs on the slider. That's a 62% whiff rate on that pitch for the start. But then you dig even deeper
on the splitter.
The splitter, excuse me. Yeah, the splitter. But then you dig even deeper on that splitter. It didn't have its usual drop back. In fact, it had 2 less inches of drop than we had been seeing from the splitter this year. So it would, in terms of movement, it went the wrong direction. You mentioned the velocity was up for Gausman, 1.4 on the fastball, 2 on that splitter. So I wonder if just a harder, straighter splitter, like it's becoming a different pitch basically. And it might end up being effective in its own way. I mean, it's too small of a sample to really take anything away from it. In theory, this was a step in the right direction for Gausman, but it didn't come in the way I was expecting, which makes me a little distrustful of it.
I will say with the slider, using it more and getting good results with it today, he lost about 4 inches of drop with that pitch in this one. And, it's very much like a gyro slider for Kevin Gausman. He gets very little horizontal movement. So whatever effect he's going to get from the slider is going to have to come from that drop that he gets. And he got a little more of it. He got, 3 whiffs on 7 swings with it as well today. So maybe adding that as something he can throw about 20% of the time could make the whole thing work out a little better. But I mostly agree that I don't have a lot of confidence in the good Kevin Gausman starts this season.
Now, to get back to the segment here, I think that makes him a pretty clear sell high because the results overall have been good.
Yeah.
Even as we've kind of been wringing our hands over the way he's been doing it. I wouldn't want to sell him short. Like I wouldn't want to be playing hot potato with him. Just take him off my hands as quickly as you can. But I'd make some measured offers if I had Gausman and see what I could get for him.